This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so as part of our full stack Java development course, we'll be starting with core Java initially, and then we will later go with an advanced Java, wherein we'll be learning about how to handle the exceptions and the collections part of it. Like, for example, how to use a list, how to use a set, when to use the list, when to use the set, right? And then followed by hash mappings, etc. and all. We'll be learning it out. Going forward, as part of this one, right, course, what are we going to cover? We'll be covering about the introduction to the Java. We'll write a basic Hello World program today, and we'll be executing that, and slowly we'll get an output of it. And then we'll not be able to learn completely what we have written today. However, we'll be ensuring that we are going to learn whatever we have written as part of that first Hello World program that we basically has written today, right? And then followed by what is a variable and what is called as a data type, right? So slowly we'll be learning out these things as well. And then followed by we'll get introduction to the operators if permitted. However, I'll be covering out the agenda over here, what all we learn as part of Java programming. Followed by operators, we'll be learning in flow controls. Those are nothing but your if else statements, followed by switch, for loop, for each loop. Basically, why we are supposed to use. Let's say, for example, if you wanted to print your name 5 times, right? So how will you print your name for the 5 times? Maybe we'll be repeating the same statement like your name. Like say for example, Naveen, 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 5 times. We'll be writing it out. However, instead of writing repeatedly, with one liner, can we get this done? Right? So those things we'll be learning it out. And then arrays we'll be learning it out. What are those arrays, etc. And all. And as part of this Java, right, it's a special thing that we are supposed to learn, and that is very much required. Basically, as all the above pointers, right, whatever I say, arrays, strings, etc. and all, will every programming language be supporting, however, what is Java special? Why we need to learn Java? It is basically because of this oops that is being Java is being supported, right? So in that course of action, we are supposed to learn all these pointers. Either it could be class and objects, what is a method in Java, how do we write a constructor in Java, and how the constructor is same as methods, right? Followed by the access modifiers that we usually call it as public, private, etc. and all, and followed by the keywords, and then inheritance and interfaces, polymorphism, super keyword, abstraction, encapsulations. As I told, advanced topics, exception handling using try catch, throwables, followed by hash mappings, etc. and all, we'll be learning it out. So now moving to this one, introduction, right? So what is a Java? We all know that Java is one of the most powerful programming languages initially developed by Sun Microsystems, okay, wherein they thought of giving a solution to the real world problems that are there. What are the real world problems? We are talking about before emerging of a Java, okay. For example, now after Java being evolved and object oriented programming concept is being brought, okay, along with these programming languages, we were not having any e-commerce websites like your Amazon, Flipkart, or we, in that matter, we even did not have Ola, Uber, Zomato, Swiggy, etc. kind of things. All these kind of websites or the mobile application evolved to us just because of the software that we are writing in and the software that we started developing, right? So now, how did these things happen? It all happened because of the object-oriented programming things. Okay, so object-oriented programming is the one which came in with the Java, and that's where we started designing our own requirements as per our requirements, whatever it could be, customer relationship management, or softwares such as probably if you have heard of it. Pretty well. If you haven't heard of it, no worries. We have Microsoft's Dynamic 365, which the and Zoho and many other things. Salesforce are these things, right? Basically, to manage the products, to manage the softwares, projects that come to our companies, organizations, etc. And all. But everything now we are getting it online. So. Um, లైక్ హౌ కెన్ ఐ సే, మీరు ఇంతకు ముందు బుక్ లో పెట్టుకొని స్కేల్ పట్టుకొని రోస్ అండ్ కాలమ్స్ వేసుకొని దీంట్లో ఇది వీళ్ళ కంపెనీ నేము, ఇది వీళ్ళ ఇచ్చిన వాట్ ఐ కెన్ సే, జస్ట్ అ సెకండ్. రైట్, అట్లా బుక్ లో రికార్డ్స్ రాసుకుంటే డైరీలో నోట్ చేసుకోవాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు. నవ్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్ ఈస్ కమింగ్ ఇన్ టు ఆన్లైన్. వాళ్ళ ఈమెయిల్ అడ్రస్ అండ్ దెన్ ఫాలోడ్ బై దేర్ ఫోన్ నంబర్స్, దేర్ అడ్రసెస్, ఎవ్రీథింగ్, రైట్. సో ఇవన్నీ ఎవాల్వ్ అవుతున్నాయి, ఎవాల్వ్ అయ్యాయి జస్ట్ బికాస్ ఆఫ్ ఆఫ్టర్ ద జావా బీయింగ్ ఎవాల్వ్డ్ అండ్ వేర్ దే స్టార్టెడ్ దిస్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ ఓరియంటెడ్ ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ కాన్సెప్ట్స్. So, and then currently this Java is being owned by Oracle, okay, and we'll see some of the histories of it. So Java, as I said, right, it supports object-oriented programming. However, it will not be 100%. Not all the object-oriented things are being considered here with respect to the Java. Why it is? Because of the data types that we have it. Okay, we'll be seeing what is a data type, how we'll be declaring, and then ఎలా ఇనిషియలైజ్ చేస్తాము, and then how we call it out, etc. and all, and how it is different from the object oriented programming. నేను గోయింగ్ ఫర్దర్ ఇన్ ద లేటర్ క్లాసెస్ మనం నేర్చుకుంటూ ఉంటాం అనమాట. అకార్డింగ్ టు ద ఒరాకిల్, ఒరాకిల్ వాళ్ళు ఏం చెప్తున్నారంటే టుడే, ఐ థింక్ దిస్ డాక్యుమెంట్ వాస్ ప్రిపేర్డ్ 2 years ago. సో బై దట్ టైమ్ దే వర్ క్లెయిమింగ్ దట్ అరౌండ్ 5.5 million devices, అంటే either it could be a television, either it could be a laptop, either it could be a mobile, or whatever it could be in that case, right? 5.5 million devices lo Java has been installed, and everyone is operating and then getting their programs or real world problem solutions to the real world problems, whatever it could be. People are utilizing it, it seems. So that means how powerful you can just think of it. And when 5.5 million devices are being used, right? Imagine the number of developers that are using it for their development. So it's around 6 million developers, right? So that means more than 6 lakh plus 6 million you can consider, right? Consider, convert into an Indian of numbering format, and then you'll be able to understand how many people are using Java. Basically, don't consider the entire population over here. Consider the software population, and among the software population, just consider the portion of Java developers, right? It's a, none can beat this one. Of course, there is a Python coming in. However, Python is meant for completely a different one. And so you cannot just replace Java, something like that. It's been ruling the software industry from last 30 years, and it can rule further at least minimum the same number of years. Okay, it's very tough. Google's Go language is also there. You can imagine Google has rocked the world with their Android operating system. However, they even used, right, basically for their Android programming, Android operating system, this Java only. So that means you can imagine, though they have their own Go language, they could not use it for the Android operating systems initially, whatever they have developed, etc. and all, right? So now you can just imagine how powerful Java is, and you are here to learn this Java full stack development only. That is the reason. And as I said, you can use Java in your Android mobile applications, gaming, web applications, big data, right? IoT, Internet of Things, cloud-based enterprises. Anywhere you go in the part of software world, you do have the Java over there. So that much powerful it is. So we are learning that Java only as part of our course. And from my end, I'll be providing the step-by-step installations of this, how to have this Java in our machines, etc. and all. And probably this document, right, if you just open it, I'll be presenting these notes and all for you guys. If you can go through this one, I have given which hyperlink we are supposed to follow, and or here which version of probably today I have used Java SE8 while at the time of creation of this document. Maybe the version would be little different today. It doesn't matter. We are supposed to download the JDK. right? With the clear instructions and which one we are supposed to select. Now, let's say, for example, I'll show you how it will be the same one. I'll just click on this one. Right now, if you see now, the interface alone, the web application is designed now in a different way. Let's not forget, we don't need to think of it. Now, when you come in here, so can you see you're here? So this is the same screen it is coming in. According to your operating system, my operating system currently is Windows. And now can you see x64 installer? And I would have taken the same screenshot. See, Windows x64 and JDK download exe. Right. So here we do have the exe, and this is what you're supposed to download. So like this, each and every detailed document I have provided over here, right, with the installation steps and all, you can go through it and then you can get it installed. Don't worry with the screen if you do not have my computer on your screen, okay? If you do not have my computer on your screen, just press the Windows key from your keyboard. This particular start screen will be coming in for you, and over this, type this PC, okay? You're asking in, you're saying in with a plain English language, this PC, e-computer, ani, you're typing in as in this PC, and over here, right? So when you click on there is a something called as in properties. When you click on this properties, ఇక్కడ ఇప్పుడు whatever screen that you are seeing in, that is the next screen that will be available for you. See, and then followed by again, see whatever could be the course of actions, right? So there are many ways to launch this particular properties screen, either it from the my computer on the right click of your desktop or through the one that I have shown just now, opening the start screen. ఇది అందరికీ తెలుసు how we are supposed to open. Every one of us knows, right? By pressing the Windows key, we will be getting it out, and then probably we'll be typing in this PC, right? And then we are choosing in the properties over here. So ఇలా ఉంటుంది అనమాట. And each and every detailed document, now what we are supposed to do and how we are supposed to do everything after installation, how could I confirm that Java is successfully installed in my machine, right? Everything I have presented. And now, for example, if you guys have any one of you have a Mac operating system, do not worry. Even for that Mac, I have clearly have the provided the detailed steps of what you are supposed to do as part of this document, right? So you can go through this one and then you can quickly get Java installed on your machines. However, in my case, since I had already installed Java, right, I'll just go to this particular and then say like Java sees the command which can be used to verify that Java is installed. And now if you can notice, right, let me go on to the top of the screen, start of this one. Can you see? Usage, Java C, options, source files, etc. and all, where possible, etc. File names and all. It is talking about something about Java program in detail. We don't need it. However, what if I need to check the version that I have installed in my machine? Java hyphen version. Can you see? This also ensures that Java is being installed in your machines, and the version that we are using is 18.0.2. So this is how I'll be providing the basic in detailed descriptions. Not everywhere you'll be getting it. So this is what I'll be basically covering from my end as part of this course. Okay. And coming on to this one, first program. ఈరోజు మనం ఒక చిన్న program రాద్దాం notepad లో. So basically to present you this course content, right? Where what I have used PowerPoint, right? So now in that matter, where I can write an Java program, right? So Java program can be written anywhere. Okay, and when I say anywhere, any of the editors that we do have, something called as a Notepad, Notepad plus plus, Sublime, or advanced things. We can use Eclipse, IntelliJ, VS Code, any of these things you can use it. Okay, however, we here will be using the Eclipse, and in parallelly sometimes I'll be switching out to IntelliJ as well to make you comfortable even with the IntelliJ tools as well, right? And to start with, how can I write a basic program in a Notepad, because Notepad is meant for something else, right, Naveen? So now no need to worry, I'll just use this one. Okay, just look at what we are writing in. I'm just using in something. I'll talk about what is this designing that I have written. This program um, is used to print hello world as the output. Okay, and I'll say like this is the very first basic program that we all write to ensure we knew Java, right? So now, ఇప్పుడు what I gonna do? I'll say like public class and then I'll say like hello world. Okay. You don't need to worry about what all the things that I'm writing over here. You just completely ignore. We'll be working it out. When I was talking about the access modifiers, I told like public, private, and all. Now this is the same public that is called as an access modifier. Okay, public static void main. Okay, string of arrays, arguments, and then again I'll open a flower brace and I'll close this out. Okay, and over here now I'll write a statement that this line system.println helps us in printing the hello world in the console. Okay, and now I'm writing in something called as system.out.println. Then I'll say like hello world. I have closed. Now it's time to save this particular program. So I'll be saving this as an save as, and then I'll go to this pictures folder. I'll name it as hello world, the same name that I have written it after the class keyword hello world. In the same way I have taken it, and instead of this text file I'll replace it with all files and I'll add an extension called .java to the program, to the name hello world. Okay, and I have saved it. Now I'll open the terminal again with this command prompt and then I'll say like cd pictures, cd users hp, right? We'll go to that navigation folder. We'll see users HP. So we do have many programs that are available already over here. So let's not use that out. So we don't have the pictures over here then in that case. No. We have to place it in one of these locations so as it will give us the output. So what do I do? Basically, is that I'll go to this documents folder. Let me delete these programs. Okay. So now let me save this in that case. Save as C users. And there I'll be saving it out. Remember, it should be all files and the extension should be .java for this particular one. So now let's move to cd hp cd documents. Sorry, spelling mistake. And now over here I'll say like Java C. Using the Java C, I'm asking to check any errors or if any errors exist in my program that I have written. Now, if you can see that there is a problem in my particular program that I have written it, where it is saying that class interface enum or record expected. This program is used to print the hello world as the output. Or here, it is there. Okay, so it means it is telling me that there is a problem for you in order to execute. Now what I'm gonna do is I'll just remove this and then save this one, because I, instead of giving one forward slash, I have given two, right? So now again I'll compile it. Now, if there is no error in our program, right? So we're gonna get an empty line, something like this, okay, without any errors. If we have any error, it's gonna represent something like this. And now, since our program is compiled and it is error free, how would I know that it is an error free? You can see the dot class file got generated just now. No, I did not notice it, Naveen. No problems. I'll delete this again. I'll place it. Okay. So as you can easily view that file updation in the particular program in the background or here. So now I will again do this Java C hello world.java. Right? Can you see? You would have noticed it. So a new class file got generated. If you want, you can open this class file. However, you will not be able to understand it is a, as this is an computer understandable language. Only some of the keywords you will be knowing it, not all the keywords. So now I'll say like Java hello world.java. After compiling, we are supposed to execute. Now, can you see that hello world has been executed over here as an output for us? We have brought it. Naveen, I am not able to say it, Naveen. Your font size is too low. If you're asking in something like that, yes, I can increase the font size for you. I'll just go to this properties. Let me increase it to 36. Right? You can see now that hello world has been the output. That much. See how simple we have written one hello world program, right? The same way we'll also be learning and writing all the programs that we write it as part of the Java. Okay. So now let's start off understanding of the lines of code that we have written as part of this particular program. Okay. The similar way you can also see, welcome to the training is the example I have written it over here. And the class name is first program. You guys can also try this kind of an different kind. You can say like hello and your name, whatever it could be. Welcome to Hyderabad, welcome to VCUBE Institute, whatever could be the text that you wanted to print it as an output. You can place it within the double quotes of this println method, and then you can get it as an output being printed. Right? We just saw an output called as an hello world in the console, and in this particular one we are writing it, sorry, we are getting the output as welcome to the training, isn't it? So now can you see how simple it is? Moving ahead, let's try to understand what all we have learned written in this particular one. If you can notice now, whatever I have written as part of this one, okay, or this one did not get us printed. We all knew that this is a plain English language and not the program language. Then, if it is a plain English language, the compiler, when I say Java C, it did not tell me that you have written in an English language which I am not able to understand, or it did not throw any error, nor it did not get printed to us on the console as an output. Now, why it happened, right? So basically, that means whatever we write in this fashion, right, using the double slashes or using this asterisk keys, right? So these are considered as in comments in the Java programming language. Okay, and these things will be ignored by the Java compiler, whether it could be a spelling mistake, whether it could be a grammatical mistake, whatever it could be the case, the compiler will be ignoring these things. Why will it ignore? Basically, that means these are basically meant for providing the description of why we are writing this particular class, why we are writing this particular program, and what we are expecting as an output for this particular program. These kind of informations alone we are writing it. We will be writing it. So for that reason, right? So this is considered as an comments in Java, and we will be, I mean, basically Java compiler will be ignoring it. And this is for an, let's say for example, today I'm teaching this particular program, class, batch, right? And then I have written some of the files basically to teach you how we can play with the programming like world. And if I haven't written any descriptions for that, later point of time, uh, tomorrow on your own, if you wanted to learn something or if you wanted to cross check something with the programs that we have written in, and you lost the flow of this particular class, right? Then you'll not be able to understand, array, why this program he has written, for what reason he has written, what could be the output. I'm understanding the output. However, I'm not able to understand the logic or here why this guy has written a main method. Like you'll be barking your head in yes or no, right? So to avoid these kind of things, for just for learning purpose only, if you're getting confused like this, imagine the programming, right? That we basically do as part of the projects that we basically work. Either it could be your Amazon, Flipkart, Zomato, Swiggy, Ola, Uber, Make My Trip, Go Ibibo, whatever could be the things in that fashion, right? How much confusion will be there if you are not writing, providing this kind of an information. So it's a good practice. It should be a good practice. It will be a good practice to have some description of what this class is meant for and what this particular line is meant for. Maybe not all the times, for every line you are supposed to write it, since it's a very introduction program, we are writing it. And on the need basis, we are supposed to inform the users or the readers, whoever will be utilizing our code, basically our teammates, colleagues, right? We should add these kind of comments, and that is what I have talked about it here. Okay, so now this is something called as a multi-line comments, and this is called as a single line comment. So that's the one that I just missed it, and here I have written it. Okay. Now, followed by continued. In the Java, right, basically, if you notice, na, every program, the programming, whatever we have written, is within this particular flower braces. If I remove this, it's in this class program name, we have our logic being written, which will be used to print a hello world, right? So that is what I'm trying to say over here. So everything is enclosed within the flower braces. And remember, always remember that the name of the class name, okay, the name of the class name followed by the file name, hello world.java, which we have opened with the help of a notepad. These two should always match. You cannot have a mismatch of these things. That is what I'm talking about, and we'll be discussing in detail. And also, I have written something called as in this public static void main. What if I don't write it? I'll just comment this out, and I'll try to execute again this particular program. It is telling that there's an hello world in the line number 13. It is telling that there is a problem. It did not understand this system.out.println as an hello world, right? The same thing was providing an output for us earlier. Just because now I have commented out the main method, this problem is arised, right? It also telling that compilation file. Okay, let me do a compilation again. Java C. Now also it is telling that illegal start of the type. It did not understand who is this system and what it is supposed to do with the println, double quotes, etc. That means this main method is the key for our executions, for our any of our executions. Okay, it did not talk about the comments over here. However, if you notice, to get this recognized and then provide as an output for us, it needed this main method. Okay, so we'll be learning in detail about these main methods, etc. and all. Shouldn't be a problem. Okay, and we'll also be learning about each and every word that we have written in our first programming, starting from public to the class keyword, followed by the static. What is this void? Why have I written the string, right? And then this, why did I use square braces over here? Okay. If you notice it, we have used three types of braces, brackets, basically flower brace, regular parenthesis, square brace. Why we are supposed to use this? How we can use it? Is there anything meaning difference? Right? Each and everything that we have written in this notepad, right? It's our basically it is our responsibility to understand what is that we have written, right? So that is what I'll be talking it out, and then in detail I'll be explaining you guys on this one, right? So now, if you notice, na, this system out println is responsible to print the hello world as an output in our console. However, this system println gave us an output of the desired output just because there was a main method, right? What is this method? Yes, again we are going to learn about it. Why I am supposed to write it as a main only? What will it happen if I replace this with main with something, right? So if I replace it again, yes, there is an error coming in. Agreed. But why is that keyword being used? Why am I using in string, etc. and all over there inside it, right? So we will just need to understand all of them, and I'll be here to take you or to the all of these things. Okay. Now, I told some why Java, etc. and all, right? Apart from the object-oriented programming things, okay? Because the object-oriented programming, even C++ partially supported it. That's a different story. Even C++ supported the object-oriented programming concepts. However, what made Java special is because of its architecture. What is its architecture? We have written a Java program, we compiled it, it got converted into an bytecode that is nothing but your class file that we just saw being generated. And according to your operating system, this can be used for your executions. If it is Windows, you can execute it on Windows. If it is Linux, you can get it. That means what it means. Write once, only once you write the program, execute it multiple times. That is what I'm trying to communicate for you with the help of this one, right? This is how the Java architecture is. If you consider any of the other programmings like C, C++, etc. and all, you'll have to install different kinds of softwares, or the compilers will be different. If you write a program in Windows, you'll not be able to execute that in a different programming, sorry, different operating system, so as you can get the same output, right? You have to modify the syntaxes or whatever could be the things. Whereas in the case of Java, no. Write once the Java program and you can get it executed multiple times. Okay. Let's try to understand more detail of this architecture. We have written a Java code, okay? We used a Java C for compiling of this one, isn't it? And we have seen this bytecode class got generated, and JVM, that means Java Virtual Machine, is being available. That is being used according to the operating system that we have in our computers, and right, and it will be used for our basically that JVM is responsible for us giving an output as an hello world or welcome to the training or whatever could be the cases in this fashion, right? So that means we are not writing the programming program to the operating systems, we are writing our program to the Java virtual machine, which is in turn responsible to talk to the operating system, because this command prompt and all are operating system own, right? If you go to a Mac, you will have a terminal, not the command prompt, CMD, right? That means these are operating systems. With the help of these things, only we are able to see an output as of now, isn't it? So that means it will, Java virtual machine will talk to these operating systems so as we can get an output on the screen, right? So you see how cool. If I share this program to you, you can get it executed in any of the operating systems, basically. That's the powerful architecture of Java. Basically, reusability concept has been introduced right from the programming steps, right, to the execution. Everywhere the reusability concept is being introduced by Java program. This is the specialty of the Java, and that makes different from all other programming languages, and that's where even today Java rocks in the software industry. Okay. And now, of course, Python is also the similar way. I'm not denying that part. However, the first very programming language was Java, who gave this idea, basically, or the concept to the entire world of software. Okay. And now let's try to understand a little more in detail, right? So we just understood that this Java virtual machine is basically responsible to execute and then provide us an output. That means what it has happened. So that what we learned it now just modulate whatever could be our understanding or discussions we just had. That means it is making us Java as a platform independent. So that means we are not writing our Java programs to Windows machine or to the Linux machine or in that case Mac machine. So we are not writing to that. We are writing our programs to Java virtual machine. The Java virtual machine, followed by the class libraries. What are these class libraries? These libraries helps the Java compiler to understand what is being written by us as part of a program. And so as we'll be getting it as a Java runtime environment. So Java runtime environment will be having all these components and the packages of it, right? And now the combination of JRE along with compiler and debugger, we just did Java C, right? Compilation. So when you add these packages, that is nothing but your JDK. So prior to Java 1.8, so we were when you install the Java program, sorry, Java software in your systems, and when you right? So we were having this JRE as well as this JDK. However, from the Java after Java 8, right? So we only have this JDKs being coming in. This is a previous version, Java 1.8. If you notice it, now I can copy this. Okay, just to make it displayable for you, I have installed it. See, 1.8, prior to 1.8, we were having this both the JDK and JREs. Now, if you see, this is different and this version is different. That means after Java's 18th version, after 1.8, we'll be having only JDKs and no JREs. So earlier we were having both of them to show you guys only this is been available in my system. That's it. Now going forward, if you do not find JRE, don't get confused. You will not get it if you install the Java 18 or 19 versions, whatever could be that is coming in. Okay. Uh, Let me try to introduce variables and then I'll stop for today. Uh, Before understanding variable in a technical format, right, let's try to understand what is a variable in a plain English language. So variable means it is basically used to store the values, right? Now let's what is a value? Probably I can tell you something like anything can be a value. For example, the salt containers that you have in your home, the rice containers, the rice bags, right? In that case, dal, whatever could be, where you are storing it in the form of a containers, isn't it? Now the same thing even in the case of, now that is very much basic example. Let me avoid that example. Let's say, for example, I wanted to store all your details, whoever are joining to the VCUBE Institute for the full stack development. Now I need to have your name followed by your mobile numbers, right? And year of passed out, etc. and all. Whatever could be the basic informations. Now, if you see, there are three things that came in. Name is one thing, okay? Mobile number is the second thing, right? And your date of joining to the institute. So these are the three things now if you can notice it. And probably now if you notice now, the name is a different type and the mobile number is of a different type because this mobile number will always have the integers alone for us. Integer alone will be there with us, right? And the name will not have the numbers. That means there are two types. Now to in order to store this one into the memory of a Java, we basically use this one. Now how can I store this one? Let's understand, right? So as I said, variable is a container which can hold the value. I just gave some of the examples. Now how would I ensure that Java compiler will understand whatever so far we have discussed, right? Let's say, for example, your mobile number is some 1234566, and then how would the compiler understand this one? How can I make it meaningful? Let's say, for example, this mobile number that is being defined is the associated name for this number 123456 is the one that is your mobile number. The name is mobile number and the value is 123456. Now since 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is a number and it is an integer, just remember, recall your basic mathematics that you have learnt in your schooling days. It's an integer and it can hold the values of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, with that, what we understood, Similar to the name, here the type is an integer and it can hold the integer data type. Now values, that means that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now how can I tell it? So in the programming language, we're gonna talk about something like this one. Data type followed by the variable name and the value for this. Now if I wanted to fulfill this now, integer mobile number equals to 12345 6. While explaining, I took a different example. While on the slide, I have given a different example. Now you could correlate. In the case of 123456, we stored it as a mobile number. And in the case of this example that is displayed for you on the screen, we have used it as an age and again the same integer we have used. The similar way, you can also fill in something like string name equals to VCUBE Institute or your name or my name, whatever it could be, right? So this is how the variables will be used in, and we do have different types of data types in order to work with Java, right? But before stepping into the data types, let's try to understand the rules that are there in the case of Java when we work with variables. Okay, so Java is a case sensitive language. That means there is a different meaning. Okay, so అన్ని capital letters లో రాస్తే ఒక మీనింగ్ వస్తుంది. If I write everything in the lower case, there is a different meaning. And sorry, did someone try to ask anything? No worries, right? So that means person, the whatever we have written in the lower case and the upper case, it is quite different and it will give them different meaning, like something like string person equals to Java and string person equals to language. However, when you print the first person, it will give you the Java, and in the second time, it will print you the language. Though for you as a human, with our eyes, we can easily different convey that both are same, right, Naveen? Why am I getting different output? Is because of the case sensitivity that is there in the Java. Okay, and always variable name should always start with a letter called as an underscore or and a dollar sign. Okay, and not any other symbols, etc. and all. And you should also note that variable should never ever start with numbers. Okay, and if there are, let's say, for example, in the previous example, I was talking about age as a display, right? So if I have to define it as an like person's age, that means two words has been there, got added for us. And if we wanted to deal with these two names, we cannot give a space like how we write in our notepads. Basically, in the Java programming world, we are supposed to write it with an underscore. Okay, there should be a concatenation using the underscore alone only, as I have shown it over here. And the best practice is camel case. Camel case is nothing but the first letter should be the lower case of the smaller case, followed by the next words. That means person p lowercase, age a capital case, right? So this is nothing but your capital camel case, and this is what we are supposed to follow, and it's a good practice to follow in the Java as part of the coding standards. Okay, and this name should be, if I say just the name age is 10, whose age is 10? Is it my puppy's age, or is it my daughter's age, or is it someone's age? Right, we have to age of an rocket that we have sent into the space, or whose age it is, to whom we are referring in. To make it meaningful, variable names should always be meaningful enough so as everyone can easily understand of what is this variable and why we need it, right? So I'm gonna quickly stop my sharing and then I'll take a pause over here for today's